Hi everyone, this is Lori with 3 Keys Astrology, and we are talking about the Virgo full moon eclipse, which is called a lunar eclipse, that's occurring on March 14th, 2025. This is going to be an eclipse on a Friday night, and the eclipse actually happens at 2:55 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. This eclipse is in congruence with the fact that Mercury, which is in Aries now, and Lord of this eclipse, is going retrograde at the same day. So whenever we talk about retrograde planets, we again use our words. So Mercury retrograde is about communication, about children, about our short travels. It's about our everyday commerce and everyday lives, the busyness of your routines. And when it's retrograde, this is requiring a good word, repair of communication, of course. Now, the other thing that's going on that's quite juicy is the fact that all eclipses are rather scorpionic. And it's because the light of the moon is occluded. And we know that at normal full moons, she's bigger and brighter than she ever is, holding promise for a new cycle and time in your lives. But during an eclipse, lunar eclipse means the moon is occluded, there's darkness. In the Middle Ages, before people fully understood the science of the cycles of time, it was terrifying that the lights by day and night were no longer in the sky. And therein, we have to understand the complexes that come with things that are in the darkness. So the moon rules your feelings, your emotional body, what you need to feel safe and secure. And this eclipse energy means that's not going to be attended to. So I am not an astrologer who thinks that all these redeeming things happen during eclipses. No. It means the light's gone. When the light's gone, bad things happen. Light is holiness. Light is honesty. Light is living forthright and upright. And so the juicy part of this eclipse, because eclipses are scorpionic, is that Black Moon Lilith on the 27th of March is moving into Scorpio. Wow, is this dangerous area. Black Moon Lilith in Scorpio is going to really evoke emotional intensity. There will be a lot of abuse, mistrust, power struggles, and criminal activity, things covert, things behind people's back. Dangerous is Black Moon Lilith in Scorpio, for she is the bride of hell. And Pluto, the ruler of Scorpio, happens to be not where he in his own domicile, but instead he's in a square configuration in Aquarius. So we have to be very, very careful. Now, during this video, I'm going to explain 3 keys, 3 important points to this lunar eclipse. And then I'm going to talk about what it's like and when it occurs for you personally by your rising sign. And I'm also going to explain what it means when you have planets that are eclipsed. Now, the first thing that I want to say is there are 2 stars that are involved in this eclipse in Virgo. Right on it is Denebola, which is at 21 degrees of Virgo. The other one is occurring at the buildup to the eclipse, which is Zosma at 11 degrees of Virgo. And in my second key during this explanation, I will explain about the fixed stars. Our skies are full of stars in the heavens, but it's the fixed stars that don't move, that will always be where they are at their points in the heavens, giving the most bright light, things that we can see from the earth that affect this planet. A lot of the other stars move like the oceans in our skies, but fixed stars don't, hence the name fixed star. Now, during this full moon eclipse, lunar eclipse, like all full moons, the sun and moon will be opposing each other. So again, that's authority and subordinates at a discord. We've got the moon opposite Neptune, and Neptune's anoretic. So that's feelings not being validated, feeling abandoned, feeling neglected, feeling misunderstood. And then Mercury retrograde, meaning that, yeah, there's going to be a lot of miscommunications. And the most important thing of all, excuse me, please, is that the South Node of Fate in Virgo is conjunct this whole lunar eclipse. And what that means is releasing and letting go. And that can be people that are Virgo. That can be Virgos losing people. And the Virgo Pisces nodal axis for the next 18 months portends your next, I shouldn't say portends, predicts the fate of your next 19 years. You see, 19 years ago, we had the nodal axis in Virgo and Pisces. And now the North Node is in Pisces and the South Node is in Virgo, right on this lunar eclipse. The healing part of this beautiful eclipse, or the good part, is all the healing that can occur for us in the month of March, but it's not going to be easy, and we're really going to have to be deliberate with our communications. Thoughtful, I guess, would be a better word. And prediction is prevention, so I hope that this video for you, audio for you, helps you overcome what can be a really trying time. The healing energy is that we've got the moon in a trine to Uranus, and that's getting insight and having new ideas and having freedom from emotional discord. This is getting new ideas to take care of wives and mothers and babies. The moon rules infants, wives, mothers, home. So there can be really great things happening during this time for people that have careers that have to do with home, building homes, repairing homes, reconstructing homes, constructing homes, even home health care. There can be some really nice intuition about how to make the life better for people in nursing homes, people in hospitals. You see, Virgo rules healthcare. And because we've got the sun and moon opposite each other, the fields of interest are going to be healthcare, farming. Those are the social issues that matter during this complex. Another nice thing that's happening right after the eclipse, around dinner time, excuse me, I'm getting a bit better, but I still have burning lungs. I apologize for that. After the eclipse at dinner time, the moon will ingress into Libra. And at that time, this is so healing. When the moon meets Pluto in a positive aspect, this is super healing. So if you're born of an air sign, or you have a stellium in air signs, this is really going to be wonderful, which means the air energy, which is our mental energy, this is a perfect day for you to sit down and decide how you can better communicate. What are you doing that's wrong in your communication styles? How can you better heal the family, because moon's family? What can you do to improve your home, because moon is your home? And that is so very sweet. It's at 3 p.m. in the afternoon when the moon finally ingresses into Libra. Excuse me. And then she gets closer to that Pluto energy to form a trine. And that's pretty wonderful. Now, we will indeed through this progress have a grand trine in air, because Jupiter is still in Gemini. So this is supreme healing. It's getting healing from heavenly favor and blessings, and being rewarded for being loving, caring, comforting, kind, compassionate, empathetic. And I hope that your focus, while I explain the darkness of eclipses, is on healing and repair. So when the moon is occluded, she's completely dark, which enables danger. And then it can be endings. It means endings at full moons for people that are moon Virgo or Virgos in general. And that can mean end of life, unfortunately, and endings because it's a healthcare issue, because Virgo refers to healthcare. Virgo is physical health and Pisces is mental health. So both of these things in an opposition are heightened. So families are going to have to say, how mentally healthy are we? How physically healthy are we? What can we do to become healthier? Now, the 3 keys that I'm going to give you to this lunar eclipse are: number 1, the first key is that any full moon in Virgo infers restlessness. It's an unsettling energy because it's a mental sign ruled by a mental planet, Mercury. So there's an unsettling energy. Your minds will be overactive, which means reactive, difficulty sleeping, difficulty relaxing, extra irritable because we feel vulnerable, because that's really what all fights amount to. Someone's not getting what they want or need, whether the other person's doing it deliberately or out of ignorance or foolishness. The point of the matter is, Virgo's about our thinking processes and our ability to analyze. And with this oppositional energy and full moon energy and eclipse energy, we and all Virgo, moon Virgo, rising sign Virgo, sun Virgo, people with stelliums in Virgo, will become overly critical, hypersensitive. You see, moon Virgo instigates conflict at this opposition and eclipse time with Mercury in retrograde. Virgo has high expectations, and people can never meet those perfectionistic expectations. So emotions are already high, like they always are at full moons, and even more so during an eclipse. And these expectations prove difficult for others trying to please Virgo. And this applies to everybody on the planet because we all have a mind, we all communicate, we all think, we all once were children, because Mercury rules children. We all use our legs to transport us by our Mercury ideas. We do the things we do and go the places we go to because we've thought about them, or there's something there that we think we need. And in the case of this energy, we've got high tension, conflict, and divide. So also, when this eclipsed moon in Virgo is here, it can be eagle-eyeing other people's faults, becoming overly fussy, picky, hypercritical, and worst of all, Virgo and Gemini are known to gossip. And so that can really, really get amped up during this eclipse energy. Because we have the South Node here on the nodal axis, I want you to know that the moon's nodes are mathematical points in the heavens. You can't go pick up a node. You can't look at a picture of a node. They're mathematical points in the heavens around the moon. And these times are fated events. And fate happens when you have a baby, when someone passes away, when you meet someone that you're meant to marry, when, fated things in our lives are God's design and plan, things we have nothing to do with. Every single person listening to this video, including me, wishes Jesus would come back here so we would never have to face death again. But that's beyond our control, as is the creation of a new baby. That was God's design. Mankind doesn't make it. We don't have the right to alter it. We don't have the right to play God ever in our lives. And yet so many of us, all of us, are guilty of that. So fated events happen that are events beyond our control. And because this Virgo moon, which is picky, overly critical, restless, agitated, feeling vulnerable, so they take their anger out, try to micromanage other people, that's control freak energy. It's the negative aspects of the beautiful side of Virgo. And eclipse energy, it isn't, of course, because Mercury's in retrograde. The world and the universe is saying you need to repair these things. So the south node of the moon indicates a place where we need to release something. This also indicates past lives, if you believe in that. The north node is something we should aspire to and try to go to. because we have the south node on the moon, this nodal axis on the moon in Virgo, eclipsed with Mercury in retrograde, the lord of that moon, the fate here is that it's a perfect time to release and to let go. What do you have to let go of? All those negative Virgo characteristics I mentioned of micromanaging, nitpicking, expecting perfection, and making demands. Rather than you go to the opposite axis, to the north node in Pisces. Rather than you lean on God, you ask God to get closer to you. You try to get closer to Him and to the Holy Family by being humble, simple, and understanding. Moon Virgo negative is about insecurity. So can you find a way to comfort whatever that insecurity is at your workplace, with your family, especially brothers and sisters or parents at this time, with your children, because Mercury rules children, in schools if you work with the population children? What can you do to find a way to alleviate irritability, anxiety, perfectionistic behaviors, controlling behaviors? We need to let go. We need to release that thing. So I thought of 3 things that could help. Excuse me, please, again. I've thought of 3 things that could absolutely help calm the energy of the mental agitation that is the full moon eclipsed in Virgo with Mercury retrograde. One of the things you can do that I always do and love is to diffuse calming oils. To diffuse calming oils into your environment. The second thing you could do, I have 3 little keys here too, is to speak softly and even whisper if you're a tempered individual, such as we Italian, Irish, Spanish, Latino. So speak softly, whisper. That's even a really good trick to try to do to remedy our E word, Mercury retrograde, that try to train yourself that when you're in conflict to speak more and more softly. Get to the point of a whisper if instead you want to rage, because we have to let go of these things. South Node Virgo. The third thing you have to do or could do, but especially I think this is a have to, you've got to physically spend your mental energy, because everyone's going to have heightened mental energy during this time. Spend that physical mental energy. How can you do that? You could hike up a mountain. You could go for a run. You could lift weights to the point of sweating. You could do aerobics for 30 minutes. But you've got to get physical and you got to break a sweat. And that'll help break some of this mental monotony and break those patterns of perfectionism, nitpicking, and critical confronting behaviors that are likely possible. Now, the second key that I'm going to give you on this lunar eclipse is to talk about the stars that are involved. So the first star that we have that's at 21 degrees, within a degree, a little more than a degree of our lunar eclipse is called Zosma. Or wait a second, I'm going to give you the building up one first. At 11 degrees of Virgo, so building up to this full moon, is the star Zosma. And that star can give you, to make you, if you're born, if you have a planet at 21 degrees of Mercury in Virgo, especially, it would give you the tendency to worry needlessly. It could give you a tendency to selfishness, to be highly unreasonable. And the worst of all is these are shameless individuals. And it depends if your sun is there, that's for sure. Mercury there. In conjunct to Pluto, which is what's happening now, because this whole energy of this eclipse is in conjunction to Pluto. So that can mean domestic disturbances. Sorry, I'll say it again. Domestic disturbances, because the moon is family and the moon is darkened and occluded. This can also be losing pets during this time too. Little family pets, big animals or small animals. This is about health conditions, and again, because Pluto's in Aquarius, of the lungs, like you're hearing in my speech and my coughs. This is also unhealthy conditions caused by uncleanliness. So tuberculosis and such things are from contaminated water that the particles become airborne and infect people. The other star we have that's right on this configuration is the fixed star Denebola, and that is turbulence in politics over Virgo themes such as hospitals, medical care, prescription drugs, farming, harvesting. And when we talk about harvesting in an abstract term that doesn't apply to farming or reaping the fruits of our efforts and labors, rather, though, in an abstract way, harvesting can indeed mean entitlement, such as having rights to minerals or rights in a dispute or divorce. So, but Virgo rules hygiene. So during this time, we've got to be especially careful with cleanliness. The third thing I'm going to tell you about what I said, the danger that is the Black Moon Lilith moving into Scorpio, because all eclipses are scorpionic. When the Black Moon Lilith moves in there, this energy is about domination, managing others, micromanaging, control. And it's very dangerous because for most, especially Taurus, Scorpio, Aquarius, and Leo, having the Black Moon Lilith in Scorpio, oh my gosh, could be the Scorpio person embodying those negative traits of possessiveness, being obsessed, being jealous, being overly controlling, which is going to fleek over and hit the Taurus person. So it would be Taurus rising being involved with someone that's acting this Black Moon Lilith Scorpionic way. But having Black Moon Lilith in Scorpio, every one of us have Scorpio somewhere in our charts, does indicate malicious compulsions, does indicate jealousy, does indicate danger, death, evil intentions, evil carried out because of our obsessions. So that is pretty scary. I don't like it all at all. The next thing is that eclipses are transition points, they're turning points in life, and eclipses test us, and they produce fated events. They force you to evolve or devolve, to renew and repair, and to release matters of the houses that they fall into. This is, especially in Virgo, it's time to separate the junk, the poison, the toxins, and the decay from what's valuable to you. So purge. It's wonderful that we're fasting. That's so healthy for the body. And in Virgo, minimalize. Get rid of the unused clutter. Be very clean. Become fresh. And be quiet when there's this trying, irritable, agitated energy. I would also ask you at this time to consider some eliminations from your diet and things that you know that are no good for you, and try very, very hard to not eat those foods that you know are no good for you. Now, I'm Italian. Most of us Italians become lactose intolerant in around our early 30s. And if you know this, but you can't keep yourself from ice cream, I can promise you, and especially if you're a Virgo, that this full moon eclipse is likely to bring on a lot of indigestion and stomach discomforts. So do purge and clean your diet. So the next part of this that I want to talk to you about are, because eclipses infer major life changes, when you have eclipse falling on the angles of the chart, these would be the bones of the chart. These are what I refer to as the cross we're born to bear. And they start with Aries in the first house, Libra in the 7th house, Capricorn in the 10th house, and Cancer in the 4th house. That's the essential wheel of the sorrow cycles. That's where everything starts. When you have eclipses on these points, in Aries, it would indeed be Mars. Something about your actions are being eclipsed. And that counters the 7th house of other people and the relationships you're in, which is Venus, meaning something about the relationships, love, and finances are being eclipsed. when you're Aries rising, this means that in the 10th house of your career, that it bounces back off to your home life. That's true for all of us. So the bones of the chart are essential for every human being because it is our personality and the way we relate to each other. The first house, according to the 7th house, others, and then the career or social status we have in life, because we do. Everybody has a social status, like it or not. Everybody's got a reputation, like it or not, which is the 10th house, and that opposes the 4th house. The 10th house is your social life. The 4th house is your private life, your home life, how you behave inside your home and your family. And when there's eclipses on any one of these 4 points, 1, 4, 7, or 10 in the houses, this means they will trigger the other houses because you're nothing. You're not an island of yourself. You need others, the 7th house. If you have to have a career change, it's going to affect your home life because you need income, and which can mean a change in residence. So you can come to me for specific requests if you would like an eclipse reading. I'm Ducky at 3keysastrology.com, and my website is www.3keysastrology.com. So the horizontal cross again of the cross you bear, or the axis, the angles in your life, your personality, your lifetime. For we are reading chronology. We astrologers do read you in time and space. That's the crux of our business. In the first house, it's yourself. In the 7th house, that is the horizontal cross. Goes right across, and it's oppositional on purpose to teach you how to relate to others. Then the 10th house to the 4th house is the vertical line of the cross. And now I'm going to talk to you about what happens when the personal planets are eclipsed. So when this is your sun being eclipsed, this can indeed be an identity crisis, a crisis with your father, or if you're female, your husband. This can take the joy out of life somehow, because the sun is a joyful planet, a life-giving planet, a vitality. Eclipsed, this means that there can be a lack of vitality. And in the Pisces Virgo axis again, where this lunar eclipse lies, this can infer a health crisis, mental or physical. The sun is the heart in the body, and it's your brain, the light of your brain, the light of how much of the Holy Spirit is inside of your soul, your person, your personality, your being, and the way you relate to other people. And when it's eclipsed, it means that it's not clean, not lit up, not holy, not vital, not lively. And also in the body, because the sun rules the heart, we're talking about blood flow and circulation. There can be a crisis here because at full moons, blood pressure increases. That's why babies are often born around full moons, because that liquid in the body is at a heightened state, ready to be the wave that pushes the child from the mother's body into the real world. Now, if your sun is eclipsed during this eclipse, and for all of us in the world, I'm on the moon now. An eclipsed moon, and what that means. Well, we're all going to face that because the moon is indeed being eclipsed. So the moon rules your wife, if you're male, its mother, its pregnancy, its infants, it's your domestic life, your home, and your family. This eclipse can indeed mean a new birth in the family, because there's indeed a life and death crisis happening at every birth. The mother has the death of her single life, her maiden lifestyle, her life before motherhood. And yet, birthing in that crisis is a brand new life, and she's born again a mother with the child. So that can happen. There can be crisis with any of the population I just mentioned, and it can also be a time that's very nostalgic. We can find people feeling very melancholy, longing for times past that were wonderful. But it's a time also of endings, and it can be with family members, mothers, grandmothers, infant daughters. This also includes separations because the moon's eclipsed. And when that happens, it can mean relocations, moving your home, or losing home and family. When Mercury is eclipsed, and right now we've got our retrograde Mercury on the very same day, this population, our elementary schools, the money that you exchange on a daily basis, your little trips to the store, your little routine things that you do day in and day out, is Mercury. It's your travel plans. It's anything to do with children. Their school schedules, their extracurricular activities, all things children. And this is also ruling your brothers and your sisters. So when Mercury is eclipsed and retrograde, we have tension and stress in communication, and conjunct the South Node, we're going to be forced to let go of the above-mentioned people, places, and things. So we've got to get rid of and let go of ill communicating patterns and habits. Really take time and think about what they are. We all are habitual creatures. Habits rule the moon, and Mercury is our minds, and we keep fighting about the same things, or repeating the same things, or fighting the same way, or getting loud, or being critical, or being controlling. With Mercury here right now, conjunct this moon in this lunar eclipse, we need to realize first what we're doing and then release it, because there will be a lot of misunderstandings for both conditions of this eclipse, Pisces conditions and Virgo. So repair, realize, release. In this retrograde, go back and fix it. The truly healing energy that's coming right after this eclipse, that I spoke about in your new moon in Pisces video that I made for you, and in the weekly forecast last week when I taught you secrets about the 12th house. Gosh, go see those videos, because they talk a lot about repairing and releasing and letting go and healing. And we've got a lot of opportunity to do that right after, at 3 o'clock in the afternoon on the day of the eclipse, into the dinner and overnight. I do weekly forecasts, so you can find those on this channel. But now I'm going to talk about what happens if Venus is eclipsed. Venus rules our material comforts, our self-esteem, the beauty that we're given, the love that we're given, happiness, happy occasions. Venus rules females. And when this energy is eclipsed, that's a decrease or ending of these themes. Venus rules love and marriage. So there can be a lot of misuse or abuse in love and marriage. Lots of misunderstandings. Lots of devaluing people rather than showing them their worth. So who's valuable to you? What's valuable to you? Is that what you're surrounding yourself with? It's time to let go of what you're not valuing and what's not valuable anymore that needs to be cleared from your life. When Mars is eclipsed, Mars rules our battles in life. We all have them. Mars rules our anger. Mars rules our ambition. Mars is male. All the males in our lives. Mars is our drives, what stimulates us. It can be our exaggerated sense of self-importance during an eclipse, because it's the negative side of this. There's darkness in moon and feelings, and moon Mars is anger, irrational and erratic behavior. Unfortunately, this can be time of a lot of accidents and health crisis of blood circulation, high blood pressure, strokes, heart attacks, of getting burned. Fire is ruled by Mars, so fire is getting out of control, getting burned in a fire, inflammation internally in the body, histamine issues like the one I've lived with through the whole month of February with infected lungs. You've got to be extra careful traveling. Mars rules machinery and weapons, so you have to be extra careful if you're working in a machine shop during this lunar eclipse. Handling weapons, be very, very careful. Even if you're just going out to have some fun on a range shooting target, careful, extra careful with weapons right now. And all of our firemen have to be exceptionally careful during this eclipse. Mars rules the military along with Saturn. So during this eclipse, it can mean an ambush. This is Mars retrograde, somebody coming back for some kind of revenge or bringing the fight back up or bringing the argument back up. And with Black Moon Lilith in our orbit, so very, very close to this eclipse, ready to cause problems, this is ambush, attack, and more war. The nodal axis is a major turning point in life. Fated events that happen in 19-year cycles are now about mental health, physical health, and our well-being. So always remember that eclipses are fated, life-changing events. And in 2025, with this Virgo Pisces North Node in Pisces, South Node in Virgo, these are on the moon. So every eclipse has to do with family, feelings, your emotional needs, your insecurities. And these things are what every eclipse is about, feelings. I'm also going to be offering within the next week full moon Lilith readings, because she's going to be in Scorpio for almost a year, or maybe a little more. I've got to go look exactly at the dates. But you can go to my website, www.3keysastrology.com, read your weekly forecasts on my blog in there, and see all the readings that I offer. I love doing compatibility readings because eclipses have to do with couples in relationship. It's a great time to get the scoop on the one you love, to get some more insight, because once again, prediction is prevention. And now all that you know all of this, I hope you're very careful. I hope you tend to your belly and your diets. I hope you take a good revision of your relationship and your communication styles with each other, in the family, within the immediate family. And I hope you stay nice and healthy and well. I love you guys, and I'll see you for the next video. Take care for now.